the point is, GPS is no different from the navigation tools in concept, from the navigation tools that Captain Cook invoked for Britain to then take control over all the South Pacific that they did. It is, where are we, and do we know this information with precision? And so, and what happens if an enemy force takes out our GPS? And we have so much dependent on it. What are we going to do? We've got people now working on using navigation by pulsars. Can't take those out because those are cosmic. They're sending highly timed pulses that reach Earth in different places on the sky. And by measuring them, you can, and the time delay between one and the other, you can actually localize yourself on Earth's surface with extremely high precision and without any use of satellites. So that's the future of navigation, where you are insulated from a rogue nation that might want to take out your satellites.
Pulsars.
Pulsars. And by the way, the Trump Space Force, you know, there are there's a whole lot of Trump haters out there. But if you want to hate Trump rationally, you want to not hate him no matter what he says. You want to evaluate statement by statement what he says, right? That's what you need to do. He says, I want a Space Force. Well, let's think about that, okay? In the Second World War, there was the Air Force, except they were not their own branch. They were part of the Army. It was called the Army Air Force. And then we realized that command and control in the air needs different kinds of soldiers because they have to be pilots. It's a different kind of decision-making, different kinds of tactical actions you would have in the theater of operations. And so it was sensible to spawn off a new branch of the military called the Air Force. No one today would question whether that was a good idea. Today, you should know that operations in space, in the vacuum of the universe, is a different regime that you're operating in from moving through the air. Your hardware looks different. Your strategies are different. Your command and control is different. So it's not a crazy, just because it came out of Trump's mouth doesn't make it a crazy idea that you might want a Space Force. In fact, I had proposed a Space Force in 2001 when I was on a commission appointed by George W. Bush to explore the future of the United States aerospace industry, a commission of 12. So I put it on the table. We have Air Force generals there, former members of Congress, people from Lockheed Martin, and people said, well, the Air Force is currently overseeing space, the United States Space Command. So everybody was happy with it, and so I said, okay, let's not worry about it. If everybody's but as long as this needs of our presence in space grows, but more importantly, the size of our assets, as long as that continues to grow, what else would a military do beyond protecting your borders? They would protect your assets. And our space assets day by day, are growing by leaps and bounds. So it's not
assets meaning like satellites, space stations,
and the value of those. It's not just the cost of the satellite; it's the value that's the satellite to you.
Right.
The military is now creating a whole other GPS system that will be exclusive to them, and then they're going to cede the current GPS to. And what have we done with GPS? This hard-earned engineering and physics and orbital mechanics. What have we done with the GPS? We now use it to find out who you want to mate with.
Oh, someone's in your area.
Yeah, right? This is Tinder. This is Grindr. This is show me mateable people within 20 square blocks of where I am. That's a GPS.
I don't think they mate on Grindr.
You're right. I did look up the definition. Mate implies you're making a baby. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you going to have sex with? Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that has a certain economic value to society. So does Uber. So do all the things so does UPS tracking their trucks.
Yeah.
So it's not the cost of the satellite. It's the value of the satellite to our economy. You'd want that protected.
Makes sense. Is there a Space Force currently? Like, is it real? Have they recruited
There's
people?
the United States Space Command. So
is there anybody who's a general?
If we make there's generals in the Air Force overseeing Space Command. So if you're going to make a Space Force, you would offload the space activities of the Air Force
Space Command
to this U.S. Space Command primarily to the Space Force, and then add or subtract from that in whatever way is sensible given the needs. If we have a Space Force, you know what I want to see?
What?
I want them to protect us from asteroids. How about that?